Well, Spencer, it has come down to the end.
Yes, the end.
This will be our last podcast on this table.
On this table.
Because this weekend, my brother is coming to pick it up.
Yeah.
And we are going to be done with the table. And these chairs. Not our fancy chairs, these ugly ones that are next to the fancy chairs. They will be disposed of properly.
I feel like it's going to be like that scene from Office Space where you got like an axe and you're just chopping it up and then you just use it for bonfire.
There's going to be violence. It's going to be a violent endeavor. But you know what? This old table's got us through, I hate this fucking table. It always is rocking and a banging and a shaking and knocking shit over. But you know what? It has served us well these 20 years we've been doing this.
Do you have like a table picked out for the new place yet, or?
I have been looking, and it's really hard to find a good table. It's not like $500.
Oh, yeah.
Because the length of this table is perfect. Yes. But see, here's the caveat. One, I don't want one of those kitchen tables that's real high.
Yeah.
Because then we have to be all propped. Like, that's stupid. And two, so we don't have to use these stupid microphone stand special things anymore. I want a table where you can just hook the mics either to the table, or we can get those fancy ones we drill Rogan style a hole through the table. I will be looking for. We might have to use like a fold out table temporarily, like how Collins, one of those, because they're like $30. But eventually we will get the table. I am keeping that whiskey news.
Oh,
what is that? Whiskey business. Oh, well, there goes that. I'm keeping the whiskey business.
Poster. Yes, of course.
And we'll get a frame for the old Rogan poster.
Since we got a place for it now. I see you got some fancy comic boxes.
Yeah, to put my comics in them. You didn't see my bookshelves; they're empty.
Yeah, I didn't see them. You told me the last time I was here that you almost like murdered yourself filling up a box with just some of your books. And it.
I filled up 2 of those plastic comic boxes plus the 2 I already have, so I got 4 of those things. 2 I filled up the other day were just trades, and then I filled up I think 2 boxes of my fancy books.
Yeah,
made sure I'm a bubble wrapping. Yeah, be nice to those babies. And then another box of paperbacks and stuff. And then I got 1 more box that I got to get the stragglers. Not everybody fit.
So, are you going to have more boxes for your books than you are for like your clothes or anything else?
Oh, yeah. My clothes are going in a garbage bag. I'm going to get one of those gigantic leaf garbage bags. That's where the clothes go. Pretty much everything else in my room.
Just go into garbage bags.
The desk, the bookshelves, everything will go in the garbage bags. I guess the podcast stuff will probably go in a box.
Yeah, probably a good idea.
I don't know. At this point, I just want to be done with it. And then my fancy booze. I got the non-fancy booze boxed up, but the fancy booze needs special care, and I need a box that's a little more sturdy than the one I put the other stuff in.
Are you going to keep that cabinet thing there?
I was just going to give that to my brother, because I really don't want to have to load that fucking thing.
Yeah.
And I think, what am I going to do with it? Because I got a bar now.
Yeah.
I'm going to have a bar. That's where my booze is going, so I won't use it for that. And, I don't know. She wants her modernized dining room setup, so...
What's that mean?
I don't know. White people nonsense, Live, love, laugh, love, live. Whatever
Art Deco.
Yeah.
Fancy things.
Words on walls. And
Lazy Susans. You got any lazy Susans in that kitchen?
Not yet. The word pub bar and coffee bar and hutch were in conversation.
Okay.
For the I don't even know, the dinette? What do you call the little mini dining room that's not the dining room? The kitchenette?
Maybe.
It's the breakfast area.
How many people you got in this house?
Not much bigger than this house, but...
18?
No.
Just walled off in smaller areas.
It's got 37 rooms, but each room is like smaller than the bathroom we have here.
They're all like closets.
All closets. I don't think anybody cares about what we're talking about. Should probably end this cold open on that, huh? Sorry, folks. I didn't mean to bore you. But it's exciting news for us, as we'll have a professional studio. Already mapped out the corner. Gonna have some... We'll pitch in on those sound dampening wall things. I don't think those are very expensive.
No.
Tables, that's the fucked up. Mic, mixer, like everything that we bought for this stupid podcast, the most expensive thing is going to be the fucking table.
Yeah.
Hola, mis amigos. You are listening to the Drunken Pen Writing Podcast. I'm your host, Caleb James. With me today, Spencer, the DC Ding Dong Church. We were discussing, because, the Washington Redskins are changing their name, because apparently it took till 2020 to realize that having a racial slur as your nickname is probably a bad idea. Go figure.
Right?
Not that anybody gives a shit about the Washington Redskins to begin with.
Or should they?
Yeah. Apparently by the time this episode drops, he might already be in jail or fired or whatever, but apparently they're going to try to force him to sell his team, because today there's supposed to be some article dropping about some bad things he did.
Oh, the owner of the Redskins?
I'm assuming it's going to be like a Donald Sterling situation, either racist or sexist or something or other. So,
well, I'm sure you could take any owner from any sports team,
any old white billionaire, rich guy,
and just find some shit. Because once you, even like Mark Cuban, I'm sure if you dug deep enough, you could find some shit that get Mark Cuban canceled.
Oh, you can cancel anybody if you try hard enough.
I mean, when you have that much money, you can't help but to get into some bad shit that you don't want to. You can't help it. It happens.
I feel like you could be not a racist rapist, though.
Apparently not.
You think that would be a thing you didn't have to do if you were a billionaire. It's like, you don't have to be a raper. But I guess because it comes so easy at that point, it's like, hey, my buddy Jeff, he has this airplane and he'll fly us to this fancy island. Jeff, what's his last name? Don't worry about it. It's a good place. Lots of ladies. Ladies? Yeah, young ladies. Well, how young? It's ladies. Don't worry about it. And then things go down south. Apparently that lady is still alive, surprisingly. Again, by the time this episode releases, that could have probably be like 2 weeks, so that may change that. What's her name? It's like a weird name. Ghislaine or something? The Epstein's mistress lady. Anyway, we're not here to talk about gross stuff like that.
Well, we're here to talk about other gross stuff.
Maybe. Today's episode's going to be a fun one. 18 weird comic books that should be movies. We did weird comics. I don't even remember if it was on the podcast. I know we have articles about it on the Drunken Pen Writing website if you want to check that out. Spencer wrote it. Not viral, but some of his articles, very viral.
Only one.
Viral in the way that is more like a venereal disease.
Yeah, and whenever you think it's finally gone, it's just, bam, it snaps back.
Viral like the coronavirus. Not good. You got a comment on that right before we started the podcast. I got an email.
Oh, yeah?
Want me to read it on there?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, okay. I must have...
Because they're always so nice.
Yeah, I didn't see that one. I normally get an alert. I didn't notice.
Fuck. Hold on, I deleted it. Let me go to the website. It's Drunken Pen Writing, right? Not Cock Whores 19.
No.
What is that?
No, that's the sister site.
Sister site, yeah. Yeah, Spencer writes more for that site than our site these days. Here we go. I forgot there's an actual comment section. You can just easily click. So this was from... Quora? I don't know it's very simple.
Tell me how much of an idiot that I am.
I can't see the quote because it was on the email. It was in response to some part of your article. I think just the beginning, honestly. But this person just simply said, "You missed reality warpers like Raven and Zatanna, who have both kicked Superman's ass."
Oh my god.
Does nobody read the first paragraph?
No, they just go into the number.
They really go into the list. Strongest, as in physical strength. Not being able to... You specifically say not heroes or villains or anything that can, fucking use magic.
Or like alter reality or any, like Dr. Manhattan stuff,
Mm-hmm.
Not any of that kind of shit.
The comments are slowing down on that one, though. 10 days ago was the last one for that one. That was in reply to something about Superman. We forget doubly powerful beings like the Blue Marvel and Colossus of the X-Men. Men, I say this is gross injustice to Marvel's creations. That was from Tucci, Faceless Avatar.
Yeah.
Hold on, I want to find one of the bad ones.
Oh, that's like one of the first couple ones were really bad.
On this one, what the fuck? Where's Dr. Manhattan? He can manipulate matter, time, and he is invincible. He does not have any weaknesses. He can warp to any reality, teleport, or regenerate from total disintegration. Even Reverse Flash big run-on sentence. Even Reverse Flash referred to him as God, and in search of him was almost killed. Again, for anybody who's interested in this stupid article, it's what 10. I always forget the name of it.
Like 10 strongest like
Marvel and DC
like heroes or villains. I think I did heroes, and then I think I did villains.
Surprisingly, villains did not go viral.
Yeah.
Nobody gave a shit. Heroes super viral. We also had oh wait, this is a double post. Oh, triple post. Oh, good lord. This person was really upset that day. You obviously haven't done your research. Actually, that's what even Batman is stronger than Captain America. Okay, and I don't think so. Plus, you've forgotten about DC and Marvel characters who would dominate these guys. And then later, true, but this was the fighting with the other guy. I don't have the other guys for some reason, but it's in reply to Flash breaking people's hearts by phasing through them. And this guy says, true, but so can any other speedsters. And you might want to be more specific about your heroes, seeing as there are 4 different Flashes in DC. I just love these fucking nerd battles. And dude, how can you forget the Presence? A guy with unlimited power. And another person said, you seem to have picked the more well-known superheroes instead of looking for accurate answers. Try to look for more answers instead of picking your childhood favorites.
How much were they pushing up the glasses?
Well, actually, Superman is not that powerful unless he's under the yellow sun. If he's under the pink sun, he's just very flamboyant. And I don't think you want a flamboyant superhero. That is not the American way. Hold on. There was a couple. I think I actually deleted the super racist and the just very the very toxic ones, but I did keep people with strong opinions.
Yeah. Hey, and you know what? I couldn't really tell you half the people on that list right now off the top of my head without looking at it.
No, because you just wrote a bullshit article that you didn't care about because I told you to, and it was like written in 20 minutes,
and the first 2 weeks of the website. Something like that.
Oh, man. Folks, if you're interested in comic books, like enough to debate dumb, stupid shit like this, there are some very long responses to this article and people debating each other in the comments. And some of them are actually kind of funny and informative.
Yeah.
Like this one, this just goes on about Superman for fucking... Because I'm finding weird correlations here between Captain America and Superman.
Yeah.
About people, for whatever reason, comparing them. Like, you just automatically said Captain America is just as strong as Superman, which you did not.
No.
Anyway, I'm done with this. I don't feel like going through... Just like when I approve these comments, because I have to approve them before they go on, I just... I'll read them and I'm like, well, they didn't say anything racist or too sexist. I'll let them battle whoever.
Yeah.
But it's like, why? Why are you so invested in that? And we're not even a comic book website.
No.
Like, yeah, we do have comic book stuff on our website, mainly reviews and some articles.
Yeah.
But people, like you, I would expect to see that on, like, Bleeding Cool Comics or something. Not DPW, but they really attached to that one. Like, who knew? I'm pretty sure you might even said that was your opinion, didn't you?
It was
it's not like you were like, these are
the
top strongest. Like, you're like, this is what I think are.
Yeah, who I think are just the brute strength, which the one comment that I saw that I was thinking about commenting back to with the guy who brought up Colossus as like Colossus is a valid is a valid because he is like a super just brute strength kind of guy, but still I don't know who he would kick out of you know.
Well, then also how far are you gonna split these hairs because Juggernaut is super strong but because of magic.
Yeah, so
but technically he's just brute strength. I mean, would you include him? Like, we were just going by brute strength. Because, again, Superman technically wouldn't be on the list because the yellow sun made him strong.
Or, they did this a couple years ago. They gave Colossus the power of the Juggernaut. So he was like Juggernaut Colossus.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Just metal Juggernaut.
Well, he had like the Colossus body, but he had the big dome helmet on it. It looked kind of weird.
Does he need the helmet though? If he's got,
it's like part of like the crystal charm thingy that gives him
Anyway, back to 18 weird comic books that should be movies. I didn't mean to go off on a tangent. I know how triggered you get when we talk about that article, Spencer. It's like one day on your tombstone, they'd be like, Andy had an article that had 17.9 million views and 47,000 comments.
That nobody liked.
I don't think anybody really said, good article, I approve of all your choices. The first one on this list, Queen and Country. You ever hear this one?
Yes. I never,
is it like painted art or is that...
I think the one on the right, that might just be like a cover, because if you look on the left, like, there's a different kind of art style.
Based on 70s Brit TV series The Sandbaggers, tells the story of SIS operative Tara Chase tackling the politics of being a special agent in an unforgiving, realistic light. The comic follows the life-in-hand missions of its operatives. Big screen plot. Tara is sent to infiltrate a gang who have cornered the market in just about every underhand activity taking place in London's hellish underbelly. But will she fall for the charming ways of the gang's leader? Dreamcast, Gemma Arterton, James McAvoy. Directed by Martin Campbell. Okay. That doesn't sound weird to me at all. What was the weirdness of that?
I think maybe the weirdness of just it, because I think that's a smaller, like from like a smaller press. I think when they say weird, at least maybe for this one, is that just like, not necessarily like the plot would, not like Doom Patrol kind of weird, but just like weird as like off the beaten path, not like
I don't approve of that. I don't think that shit constitutes weird.
Not like a cape, kind of deal.
Yeah, like if this ragtag team of sandbaggers were a bunch of hermaphrodites, maybe that would be a little weird. Because you don't come across that too often. I would like to read a story like that.
Oh, then you're right. Write that story, Caleb.
You're always telling me to write. You know what? Let's break this up real quick. My writing has plummeted to dog shit levels in the last 4. I went on this huge writing streak where I wrote like half a fucking story and I was really feeling it. And then the next 3 or 4 days, nothing, no output at all.
Well, I mean, you guys are kind of in the middle of some shit right now.
Yeah, but I've had plenty of time to write still. And I just, because it's not like I fucking was packing those days either. I was just like, nah.
True.
Just want to put out my fucking disappointment in myself. Next up, Gen 13. Now this has got a long-legged, flat-booted lady in a thong on the back of a green monster robot-looking menacing creature thing.
These were one of those early image books that had a lot of TNA in it, and
so it's like a 90s.
Oh yeah,
because this picture is very 90s.
Oh yeah.
I see some pink hair with black hair. I see titties. I see clothes that no woman would ever wear in any generation.
Well, like the not the one that's over the shoulder, but the one in the hands. Like, how do clothes wrap around the female form so snugly?
Yeah, that must be like paint. Just painted on. The comic. 5 superpowered teenagers come together when they are all targeted for annihilation. Why did the 90s think teenagers could save the day? Everything was teenagers. Weren't the Power Rangers like teenagers pretty much when they started? It's always teenagers. Like, no fucking teenagers can't do shit.
They get homework.
Yeah, and homework. They used to before COVID.
Yeah.
They discovered that they were all created by a biogenetics firm called Tabula Rasa and are possessed of the same souls as previous Gen 13 superhumans. Well, that's a little interesting. Here's the big screen plot. It's all about the origins, especially with a story as complex as Gen 13. Reams of backstory crowd the comics, with various reboots and canon departing stories, meaning there's a lot to squeeze in. But a streamlined team assembling plot that has the kids attempting to take down Tabula Rasa should set the scene for a franchise. Dreamcast, all unknown, it's more effective that way. Directed by Edgar Wright. This is GamesRadar.com, by the way. I never heard of this site. Have you?
No.
I thought this was a gaming. No. That's, again, not overly weird, but that if you did the 90s version, like that picture, yeah, it'd be kind of weird just looking, and, because the 90s were weird.
Yeah, it would probably make a great 90s movie with just shitty effects and bad acting.
Yeah.
Bruce Campbell would probably be in it.
I mean, if you wanted a weird movie that featured more modern day version of teenagers doing cool shit, We Could Never Go Home.
Yeah.
I would like to see adapted to a movie.
Yeah.
Also, any fucking movie from based on the Black Mass comics would be awesome, but Space Riders would be great.
Ooh, that'd be, oh man. You'd have to do almost like a Scoundrel Darkly kind of just weird animation for the whole thing.
That'd be awesome. And then what was that one with the terror? It was the terrorist one they did where it was
wasn't it like Terror Inc.?
No, I'm talking about the one where the guy I think they're saving animals. Liberator, I think that's
Maybe.
it. That was a strange one. I like Black Mask Library. They have a lot of good stories.
It's just I don't know about now, but there for a while they won't putting out a lot of stuff.
That's the problem. It takes forever for them to release stuff. Next up, now this one's more up my alley. Johnny the Homicidal Maniac. Now that's just a title too.
Yeah.
Hey, you gonna go see that new movie? What movie? Johnny the Homicidal Maniac.
I've never read any of theirs or because isn't that the Vader Zim guy too?
I think so.
I've never read those, and I've seen some of the comic, not the comic, but the cartoon that they did a while ago. But I don't
Homicidal
know.
Maniac or Invader Zim?
Invader Zim.
I wasn't an Invader Zim guy. I didn't really care for it. It was weird though. The comic, serial slasher Johnny C takes great pleasure in slicing and dicing, but what drives him? As he goes about making claret splatters all over walls and ceilings, he tries to understand the strange supernatural forces that are driving him to kill. So he's killing, but he's not in control of his killing necessarily. Big screen plot. In a dark animated flick that's definitely not for kids, we follow Johnny's journey of self-discovery. It's almost a detective noir thriller in reverse, this time from the killer's perspective. Dreamcast, Johnny Depp is the voice, directed by Tim Burton. I can see some I'm in that for that 100%. I would like to see that movie.
It'd probably be stop motion.
You know what? I would actually like to see this next movie just because the corniness. This is an old comic. The Bouncer. You ever read any of The Bouncer?
No, I don't think I have.
This is look at that fucking rabbit. Do you see?
Oh, with the polka dot pants?
Yeah, and what is that? The fat guy getting hit with the tail, and he's got like horns, and that woman that doesn't look like a woman, but she's wearing a dress is punching him out. It's just great. Oh, she's the hero, I think, of The Bouncer, right?
Maybe.
Let's read about it. The comic. I'm acting like I know the fucking Bouncer. Like, I used to read this all the time back in the day. Nah, this is one of those books I remember seeing just in one of those random piles where it's like
at a flea market or something, probably.
Because I just remember it stuck out just because obviously those covers are fucking goofy. No, not a potential screen project for Vinnie Jones, but a literal bouncer. Previously the statue of Greek titan Antaeus, the rocky sculpture comes to life and finds he has the ability to leap great distances. Soon he decides to use his powers to fight modern-day criminals. So that isn't a lady. That's just a man in a dress. I guess that's supposed to be like a Greek outfit.
A toga.
But it's purple and has frilly blue bottom and it's like a skirt. He looks like a lady.
The hair doesn't help.
No. Big screen plot. Comedy caper. How could it be anything else? Revolving around Bouncer's transformation from stationary resident of the Natural History Museum to rubber-soled superhero. When an evil genius uses an electric pulse to ground all airborne vehicles, it's up to Bouncer to launch himself into Earth's atmosphere to stop the explosion of a bomb. Dreamcast. Mark Wahlberg. I'd like to see him in the dress. Directed by Adam McKay. Hey, Cat. Stop doing that. I'm gonna fuck you up, Cat. I would like to see some Marky Mark in a dress fighting things as like a fake Greek god or something. I can't. I wish these weren't cropped.
Just his nostrils getting so big from screaming.
Hey, say hello to your mother for me. I wish these pictures were bigger. I can't make out what's happening. Next up, Bone. This is a weird one. The comic, award-winning fantasy series that riffs on dark ideas and bonkers humor as three podgy white cousins, Phony, Phone, and Smiley, pitch up in a medieval village and set about fighting for good. But first they have to conquer the dastardly lord of the Locust and his terrifying rat minions. You ever read The Bone?
I haven't, but I know about it. It's like one of those like evergreen, like especially young adult kind of things. I've got that book for my friends' kids,
right?
Because they were in the. It's something I want to read because I think it's one of those things that's good for like all ages. Like, you know what I mean? If you're just looking for like a
kind of like that Farley and the Goblin series we covered a long time ago,
just kind of like a fun adventure,
You're more of a Tights and Speedos comic kind of guy, right?
I mean. Yeah, but I also, I get my fair share of stuff from Image and some other smaller publishers.
You do read a lot of, like, the weird crime books and gross...
It's what it is a lot of times now I'm...
You go by writers.
I'm following creators, so...
Yeah, writers and artists.
A lot of times they go on big, like, they do, big T work for a while, and then... then they'll take a couple months or whatever and do their own, like, the creator-own stuff or something at Image, so it just kind of depends on what they're doing.
That's why you were reading that Jeff Loeb Minnie Mouse erotica series, right?
Yes.
Big screen plot. The Bone Fellas head to the big city where they bump into similar critters, the Smurfs. After Brainy Smurf and Smurfette show them the ropes, Smurf, including how to sneak under tube barriers and snatch money out of purses, Phony Phone and Smiley start to worry that the city has corrupted the wee blue ones, and it's up to them to eradicate them one by one. So they're going to murder the Smurfs.
I don't know if you could do that, though. You have to get, because, who owns the Smurfs?
I have no idea. Dreamcast. This is a unique cast here. Will Ferrell, Paul Giamatti, Kate Hudson. Directed by Peter Jackson, of all people.
Well, because you figure it's probably going to be a lot of CG animated kind of stuff. So
now, this next one I also would really like to see as a movie.
Oh, yeah.
Why? The Last Man.
Well, this needs to be a TV series, if anything.
Yeah, that'd be better as actually like a Netflix series or even like an AMC. We go, why? The Last Man, the comic. Here's one that may actually get made into a movie, even if it's taking its time getting here. First published in 2002. I didn't realize it was that old.
Yeah.
The comic follows the last man alive and his accompanying monkey after every male mammal on Earth is rendered inexplicably extinct. Big screen plot. We've taken about 4 cracks at the screenplay, says director DJ Caruso. It's been a really rough one, only because there's so much that you cover and trying to narrow it down is a problem. Let's make it easy then. Just do the exact opposite of I Am Legend. Dreamcast.
No.
Shia LaBeouf.
No.
Directed by DJ Caruso.
No, that's a fucking nightmare.
Why don't you like Shia LaBeouf?
Because I don't need his fucking weirdness, destroying a perfectly good TV show or movie.
Well, who would you cast?
I don't know.
Shia LaBeouf did really good in that Peanut Butter Falcon movie. But I think he's too gone now. Maybe if it was younger, like Transformer Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah.
But now he's grizzled and he has a giant chest tattoo. And I don't think he could do... Who would you pick now for that role? Because that guy wasn't a macho hero or anything.
No.
He was kind of your typical, slightly nerdy, random Michael Cera type, but not Michael Cera. That's too...
You know who could probably do a good job? Brandon Routh.
I don't think he's too old.
Maybe, yeah, he's probably kind of old now, but he could
Again, another one who's too old, but would have probably worked is Justin Long.
Yeah. Justin Long would have been kind of cool.
I don't know who's the young version of those guys now. Hollywood.
Are there any?
Zac Efron, but he's all buff and bearded now, so no.
Well, how old do you think Zac Efron is now?
30 probably. I don't know. Next up, Black Hole, the one you would not fucking finish reading. It's very weird.
How did anybody watch this?
How did you not like this? There's a vagina on that girl's foot, Spencer. There's a vagina on that girl's neck, and what looks to be a vagina on the bottom of somebody's penis.
Yeah.
I don't understand. A book where your foot gets a vagina, and you're I can't read that.
I like how you I think this is what happened. You actually read the whole thing.
I didn't. I don't remember anything because it was so weird.
Because your mind blocked it out because it didn't want you to go insane.
I find when I read black and white comics, I tend to not retain the information as well for some reason.
Really?
Yeah, I think that's strange, but I don't know. I think my mind just kind of even black and white movies too, it's kind of the same. Whereas I enjoyed that. I think I just kind of I don't know. I just the pictures. Obviously there's vagina, feet, and weird stuff. But I kind of just look at them and keep going because without the color, it's not and the shading and I don't know. It just doesn't draw my attention as well. Now some comics like Sin City are a little different.
Yeah,
Sin City, I'm okay, I could dig that. The comic, 12-issue series set in suburban Seattle, where a group of sexually active teenagers all contract a teen plague that causes horrific mutations. Pretty soon, they're all outcast and congregate at a commune in the woods where nobody will judge them on their bizarre appearance. Big screen plot, growing pains aplenty in a 70s horror by way of freaks and geeks. As the teen bug takes hold and ruins many a teenager's life, one afflicted teen decides to take it upon himself to rid the town of the menace. First by cutting off his own growths, and then attacking... How do you cut out a vagina? That'd be difficult.
Maybe you get a really sharp...
Scoop it?
Ice cream scooper.
Anyway, first by cutting out his own growths, and then attacking others in a renegade mission. Note, David Fincher and Alexandra Aja have both been attached to direct. Dreamcast, Stephen R. McQueen, Leighton Meester... I don't like her. Basically, any pretty TV talent, it'd be fun to see made horrifically ugly. I agree. Directed by Neil Blomkamp. And that's a perfect movie because you can throw in as much diversity as you want and give them all kinds of vaginas. I like it. No, that was a really weird series, though. I would have to. That's the one I would have to reread because it was. I mean,
maybe you can get Ash a copy and you can use that for one of your
I don't think he'd dig it. I don't think he'd like all the vagina feet. Like if you couldn't read it, I don't think he's gonna read it. He might, maybe right up his alley. I don't know. He likes weird stuff. We Three.
This is a Grant Morrison book.
I can tell by the fucking the mecha kangaroos. And what's with the fucking rabbits? Is that blood or something holding them? And that's a cat in a mech suit, right?
Yeah, I haven't read it. It's a you read the thing and then
the comic, a Western manga. We Three is a squad of prototype animal weapons, including Bandit, a dog, Tinker, a cat, and Pirate, a rabbit. So that is not a kangaroo. It looks like more like a kangaroo to me. Who all have pseudo RoboCop exoskeletons. When they escape captivity, they have to evade reincarnation. Luckily, their body armor repels things like machine guns. So that is very weird.
Yeah.
Big screen plot. Transformers meets cats and dogs, but good. There's no way to treat this premise seriously, so how about a bloody Grindhouse-style mashup that's aimed squarely at adults and has its tongue planted firmly against its cheek? Take the above plot and gore and a cackling villain. Add gore and a cackling villain, rather. Dreamcast, Mary Louise Parker for voice of Tinker, Josh Brolin for voice of Bandit, and Whoopi Goldberg for voice of Pirate, Christopher Lloyd as the villain. Christopher Lloyd's 90 years old. Leave the man alone. He ain't gonna be no... Directed by Gareth Edwards. I actually don't like the fucking movie idea they had there. I don't see that making a good movie unless it's animated.
Yeah.
That'd be too CGI heavy.
I would originally think, that's weird. I don't know how they do that. But then after watching, 2 seasons of Happy on Sci-Fi, which is also another weird Grant Morrison, thing. So, yeah, but yeah, it'd probably have to be heavy CG or animated, I would think.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe one of those adult cartoons.
I'll be alright with that. I didn't check the date on this article, so I don't know if they mentioned that this was a series. But next up is Preacher, the comic. Hypnotic collisions of faith and fucking as an angel-demon hybrid is loosed on the world and possessed the body of the hard done by Reverend Jesse Custer. Aided by assassin lover Tulip and Irish vampire Cassidy, Custer sets out on a mission to find God and make him pay for turning his back on humanity. Big screen plot. As rich and multi-textured as Preacher is, it also lends itself to a franchise thanks to the completeness of its first 26 issues. The rest of the comic story from there on in could easily be divided up into sequels. Note, Sam Mendes has long been attached to a film adapt, but has yet to get into production. Dreamcast, James Marsden, directed by Sam Mendes. Again, that's already a Seth Rogen series.
September 10th, 2010. So,
that's old, yeah.
Yeah, article's 10 years old.
I only watched the first season of Preacher and I liked it. Obviously a big, change from the comic, but I just like what they did.
Yeah.
And I watched some things online about when Assface goes to hell and all that. Yeah. It seemed like it was very interesting. Again, I just had to make shows too much media to follow.
I never ended up watching whatever the third or fourth, whatever the last season was. I never got around to watching it.
See, the comic was so good. That is one of those instances where the comic was so good that even though I don't mind if they make changes, I'm just I'm good.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the original content enough. I don't have to watch the show. I also really like this series. Ex Machina. The comic, Mitchell 100 turns into the Great Machine after an explosion at Brooklyn Bridge. After explosion at the Brooklyn Bridge, they forgot a word, transforms him into a walking, talking human motherboard with the ability to control and communicate with mechanical devices, cars, phones, and guns. He becomes the world's first superhero. Then, when he helps out during 9/11 rescue attempts, he's elected mayor of New York City.
That was a good series.
I really enjoyed it. Big screen plot. The politics is the interesting stuff here, and its combination with the superhero stuff is Ex Machina's calling card. So let's have a flashback-riddled plotline that sees Hundred facing a new foe in his office who he once had to fight as a superhero. Dreamcast, Edward Norton, I do not agree. Directed by Jon Favreau.
I mean, he could probably do a decent job directing it, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, and I like Edward Norton, but I don't think...
He's just a little too old now.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it did. I mean, well, again, 2010, Edward Norton may have been a little different. Who wrote that comic? It was...
Brian K. Vaughan.
Man, he makes some good series.
Well, that's why he hasn't had a lot of comic book work because he's been working on like shows and movies and stuff now.
Even though I haven't read it, you know what would probably make a really good show? Saga.
Yeah, I haven't read it either because they went to 50 and they were gonna take a year-long hiatus, and that was like 2 years ago. So I was like, I bought the first volume. And then I was like, I'm not buying it anymore until it comes back.
Mm-hmm.
Because, especially too, because like I've heard like the 50th issue ends on like a big cliffhanger.
Yeah. Did you ever finish Descender?
I finished Descender, and I have the first volume of Ascender. It's like the next series. Yeah. And then I have the first volume I haven't read yet, and then I have Colin holding the second volume for me whenever.
After I move, you have to let me borrow those because I was collecting the individual issues, and I had the first story arc, but I never finished the series. But I really liked that.
It was good. Just let me know.
Oh, that was the end of that wonderful article.
No, there's a whole other page.
Oh.
Well, we could edit that out and that could be the end of it.
God damn it, Spencer. Why do you have to be so astute?
Well, because somebody's going to be like, actually, guys, you didn't do 18 comics.
Actually, well, I already fucking lost the article. Next page. Well, let me just see what's on the next page. Jar of Fools, The Authority. My thing won't load.
The Authority would not get made now just because of the whole Warren Ellis thing.
The Demon. Ooh, that looks like a good one. I will read The Demon. The comic. You want weird? You got it. The lead character here is the demonic Etrigan, summoned by Merlin and chained inside the body of Jason Blood, an ally of the evil sorceress Morgane Le Fay. Fast forward a few centuries, and Blood is still battling with his dual identity, forever up against the demon in his chest. Big screen plot. Think a demonic version of Hulk, with added sweeping period settings. Hello, Camelot. And a tortured hero literally battling the demons within. Dreamcast, Mickey Rourke, directed by Sam Raimi. I like the director, and that looks like actually a cool comic. The other ones I don't care about so much.
You know who I think would do better than that? Because it mostly, at least for like you can have the actor for the normal person, but whenever it goes into the demon.
Ron Perlman.
Yes.
How did I know? Do you just cast Ron Perlman in things because he's kind of weird looking?
Yeah. Especially whenever the guy do stuff like that, because then you don't really have to see him, or he just has to do the voice.
Hey, Ron, you're a little strange looking. You know what you'd be good for? This giant demon monster.
I'm just waiting for them to do like a remake of like Beauty and the Beast, and then this time be like, you know what, guy, we don't have to put any makeup on you. You're good to go.
Mm-hmm. Are there any comics that you would add to that list?
A weird comic that I'm currently started reading is Chew.
Ooh.
It's about this detective who's I'm not sure how you pronounce it. It's because it's like one of those weird words, especially like in comics that you read and you're like, I don't know if that's the proper way to say that. But basically, he's like a food psychic to where when anything that he can eat, like say he eats an apple, he can tell like what tree it got picked from and like how like how it grew and stuff like that. Or like if he has like a hot dog, he can see the pig getting grind up and stuff like that. Yeah. So the only thing that he doesn't ever give him that is beets.
Beets doesn't do it.
Yeah, so he eats and drinks a lot of beets. But so anyways, he's a like I said,
he Doug Funny?
Huh?
Is he Doug Funny?
Doug?
Yeah, remember Doug? That's all he ate was beets.
Oh yeah,
that was the hip food.
Yeah. No, he's not Quail Man. But so like
wanna Jack Bandit.
I just started the third volume, but it's a lot of weird like food. Like there's other people. Like there's this lady who can she's a food critic who whenever you read her review, you can actually like taste the food and stuff.
Ooh.
And in the issue, in the issue they introduced her, she got in trouble because she was rating like bad reviews that were just making people all over the city vomit and stuff like that. But yeah, there's a whole bunch of weird, and like this is an older book, so like they're kind of playing off like the whole bird flu thing from there, and like so like chicken's outlawed, and so like underground chicken is like a big like a black market thing, and like the audience is just real kind of like goofy and experimental. It's pretty good. I think that could work as a series.
Interesting. Just for fun, if you folks have any crazy comic ideas you'd like to see in movie form, go ahead and shoot us a fucking synopsis of it, and come up with your own movie idea. We'd love to read. We'll read it on there. Fuck it.
Yeah.
What else we got to do?
Nothing. Keep up and coming up with something.
Sick of coming up with ideas.
Come up with our content for us, please.
Do our job for us. Poopies. Anyway, if you would like to check out our writing and other stuff that we put out, probably, you can go to drunkenpenwriting.com. We have a Twitter, and you can follow us on there and send us pictures of, I don't know, like nice kitties and fluffy doggies and stuff.
Whoa.
And maybe like cute penguins. And, sorry. That's Drunk Pen Writing. If you want to follow Spencer and send him also kitties, but of a different variety, you can... No, I'm not giving you information out, you scoundrel. You scallywag. We also have Instagram and Facebook, right?
Yeah.
Still use that, I guess. Get a lot of comments on there, I think.
The Book of Faces.
Faces. That'd be better if it was the Book of Faces and it was just like really creepy. No, anyway. It's Drunken Pen Writing as well on those. That was a terrible outro.
It's not as good as our intro.
I'm going to just start pre-recording outros and just slapping them on all the time.
That'd probably be a good idea.
Maybe some fucking sweet jazz in the background. Anyway, our next episode after this will probably be in the new place, so...
Probably another bullshit episode, probably.
I would imagine that first episode is not going to be such great sound quality. We'll see.
You're going to have to play with all the knobs again and get them where you're going to have to get your knobs right.
I'm just going to glue the knobs. Yeah. See you later.